Let's get busy. Yada yada yada. Getting there, doing that, making this. This is such a heated topic right now. There have been so many people freaking out about AI taking their jobs, their livelihood, and it is kind of scary at first when you download one of these apps for free at that and type in, you know, uh, a cow being abducted by a UFO in the style of Rembrandt, or a photograph of a cow being butchered by an army of kittens in the style of Matisse. It'll immediately provide you not just with one, but several, all at the same time. I mean, there's a great novelty to it. It's just a really interesting thing that they've done. And you couple that with all of the fears that uh, that people have about AI, just in general. That it's going to take over the world one day. The Skynet scenario. It's not scary. It's unsettling. I would say. And then Elon Musk over there stoking the fire, undoubtedly for some sort of a stock superiority position. I don't trust a single goddamn thing that anybody with over $1 million has to say. Nothing, because all of their interests are clear and apparent. Very rarely do they care about the rest of us. So I just don't listen. Technology as a whole, I think, has probably become a bit viral, and not in the internet meme sense. I mean, it's grown, not cumulatively, but exponentially since the 1940s. That is scary. That's deeply, deeply unsettling. I don't know if you guys are familiar with what a black swan event is. You should look it up. There's some great books on the subject, and they're essentially events in human history that change the course of our destiny, of our fate as a whole. Single events. The integrated circuit chip was one, but now we're having black swan events on a daily basis, and like nobody notices. It's crazy to me that nobody is noticing this. And this latest art generator is one of them. Art plays a huge role in our culture, in our species. It's typically what sets us apart, at least intellectually. When we think of ourselves as opposed to an animal, I think of art. I think of Rembrandt. I think of the Mona Lisa. I also think of philosophy and mathematics, which can be forms of art. But now we have this disembodied super intelligence that's essentially making art, at least on the surface, better than any of us could, or at least faster. But there's a list of kind of bullet points that I'd like to just go over to put everybody at ease. Do you have to suffer to make good art? No. AI is proof of that. You don't need to suffer to make good art. Do you have to suffer to make real art? Abso-fucking-lutely. I would go so far as to make the argument that consciousness itself evolved as a result of great human suffering. And that's something that AI, at least, as of me making this claim, isn't possible. And as such, it remains unable to make art. It can make reproductions of human ideas beautifully, beautifully. But I would say that it stands on a scale of like drink Coke, as an advertisement. As far as that's art, I would say that's about as much as what this AI is producing. Until a person lives a life or has an experience that shapes their consciousness in such a way that the experience bleeds out onto a sheet of paper or onto a molding of clay. You're not. It's not art. It's not art. It's a gimmick. And hey, I wish that wasn't true. Obviously, I wish art was based entirely on the delight of human beings. You know, I wish that it was based entirely on every time we ate candy and got a sugar rush and we just really just wanted to make something pretty. If that could be great art, that would make me so happy. It would still exclude AI because AI doesn't have the emotional capacity to produce anything on its own. So, where does that leave us? Well, I was going to do a talk on collaboration because it's something that's run amok in my life. At least whenever I've tried to collaborate with another person, ego or pride or artistic differences always get in the way of creating what it is we both or all set out to create. And typically the art suffers as a result of that. Typically. Sometimes, like in the making of Jaws, that was a clusterfuck. It was a total clusterfuck. How many people they had writing the script, how many problems they had making the film itself, how many butting of heads. But in the end, it was a collaboration that worked. I think probably more of a miracle than anything else. I also find it really strange that art can be responsible for infighting. Considering its therapeutic value in conflict resolution. I mean, it's the perfect petri dish for a relationship of any kind. If you want to find out what the problem is with your marriage or with your business partner, if you want to find out what conflict is occurring and why, start an artistic project with them. And I guarantee you by the end of it, you will have a definitive answer to the question. And not just that, you'll have a definitive way of solving the problem if you end up finishing the art. If you're unable to finish the project, then typically the relationship isn't going to work. At least that's been my experience in those little experiments. So, in that respect, I think AI has some serious uh, applications for as a collaborative tool, not as a link between other artists, but as almost like a prosthetic. People get into collaborations because they need something that they don't possess, a skill they don't have. AI really solves a lot of that. So that's why I'm excited for the future of art with AI. I truly am. I've already started several collaborative projects with AI. I don't refer to it by some strange name. I haven't slept with it. That it's an inanimate thing that has no physical body. It's just a helpful tool so long as you have an internet connection and a device to support your interactions with it. Knowing that, I believe that AI is going to be the most subscribed service in the known world within 10 years. Everybody is going to be paying an exorbitant amount of money to collaborate with a super intelligence. And the economics of that are going to be interesting to watch unfold. I think that's going to be very fascinating to see. But is AI going to ruin art? No, I don't think so. I think it's going to actually elevate art to a level that we've previously been unable to attain. I think that people who previously didn't have the connections to create what was in their head now have those connections. And we're going to start seeing things, hearing stories, and feeling other people's experiences in a way that is going to impact us in a very profound way. And that's going to shape our society in a positive direction, I think. The suffering, it sucks when it happens to you, but it's profoundly moving when you experience it through the eyes of an artist